guys, welcome back. It is your favorite camp with a limp, and I am here with a very special preview for you. And the one I've got sitting in front of you now, you go, oh wait, you've already covered this. That's right, I have already covered Assault Sicily 43. And this one is definitely one of my favorites. I mean, it's really shot to the top of my list when it comes to hex encounter tactical board games. This one is just top notch. I can't give it enough accolades. They really did well with this. It is by Salt Games, produced by Sound of Drums, and it was designed by Wolfgang Klein and Eric Renkel. Wolfgang is definitely good people. I've spoken to him many times before. But why do I have this on the table again? Oh, that's because they got a pre-order there for you. It's out. Able to be pre-ordered right now. That's why I'm jamming in a video very quickly about Assault Sicily 43, because they're doing a pre-order for this, and he was nice enough to send me a copy of it. Oh, so tickled. It arrived. So I haven't even popped the box. I wanted you guys to be here for the moment where I pop the top and see what all of goodness is in here. This is the Primosole Bridge expansion module for Assault Sicily 43. You will be required to have the box that I just had on the table to be able to play this. This is not standalone. This is an expansion only. So let's see what goodness we have in here. And I got to give them credit because it arrived very well. They packaged it very well. And the counters are knocked loose. No. Oh my God, look at it. I swear, I think the mail people got pissed off. He packaged the box like that thing was wrapped like it was going to war, and they must have shook the shit out of it trying to knock everything loose. Look how many counters are knocked loose. This thing was coming from quite a distance away, though. Buttheads. They knocked all the counters loose. I'm gonna have to figure all that out. But we've got our campaign book here. Again, always quality of life stuff, spiral bound, which makes it so much easier when you have it there on the table. And I was reading up on this a little bit online before I started the video, and it's bringing more goodness of what we already liked. One of the things about this game is you have the ability to do the campaign mode. It talks about the setup over here. Now, you could do that in Assault Sicily 43, but this is just another campaign that you can play through. Now, obviously, you can play through all these scenarios by themselves. You can just do one-offs, but the ability to play it in campaign where you have certain formation cards that you're choosing from, historical setup, or you could do a non-historical. Just so many different options for this game. It really does blow my mind how much effort they have put into this. All talking about the campaign mode for the game. Really cool way to play it. You'll have basically a stack of formation cards that you can use for the campaign, and you can even go full grognard with it and have your forces gain experience points and suffer losses. So some of your formations will have casualties, right? So you'll lose some of the units that are on those formation cards as the campaign plays out, but it's going that way for both sides. Up here, we see we're talking about our experience levels, and then we start getting into the scenarios. Let's just peek them real quick. Primosole Bridge campaign. This one is set in July of 1943. Gives you the basic gist, a little picture of where all these old battles were taking place, and then it starts showing you the setup. And again, this is what really sets this game apart, is the order of battle, right? And we've got our formations. And if you guys haven't seen this before, there are different formation cards. So you have armored and infantry and artillery, basically indirect. And depending on which side, you'll have so many formation cards that you can use. You'll either have predetermined formation cards. So like the blue faction here would have one infantry side. The green faction would have 2 infantry formation cards, and you might have them already picked out if you're playing through the campaign, or you can just randomly pick them, or you can just pick them out and play the scenario. Like I said, multiple ways to play the game. Generally, the side that's defending has less units because it does take more units to go on the attack. And this looks like we have airborne drops here trying to take, of course, the bridge. But with them doing it this way, it's something I've talked about before, that you don't have set sides. So it's not like the Allies are blue and the Germans are green. It's just the colors. So you can play it back and forth on either way, right? And you can change up the formation cards. So there's multiple different formation cards for just infantry, as an example. So you could play this scenario 10 different times and have it play 10 different ways each time, even having the same faction playing the same side. And then you have the ability to reverse it and say, okay, well, the Germans are defending now and the Allies are attacking, or Germans are attacking. You get what I'm saying? You can flip it around in multiple different ways. And it gives the scenarios just so much replay value, just a unending amount of replay value compared to other games, because you can just change it up. We're going to peek these just very quickly. Some of the scenarios that we're going to have here: Swift Counterattack, Swift Counterattack 2, so continuation on of that battle. On it, over it. I like the name of this stuff. Something Assault Sicily 43 added in. There was a lot of barricades, pillboxes, barbed wire, things like that. And that's what a lot of these symbols are referencing over here. They also had the expansion that added off-board, off-map, indirect fire and air attacks. That's what these are referring to. And just to help you know, when you're looking at this, if it says 1 and then slash a number, what that's effectively saying is you can have so many points worth. So if you don't want to pick a formation card, you can pick 40 points worth of units instead of a specific formation card, as an example. So just cool stuff. I could go through this for a while, but let's see what all the components are that we're going to have with the Primosole bridge. Forgive me, I'm going to have to hold these up, and you're not going to see everything because they knocked it loose. What the hell? Damn mail guys killing me. What units are we adding to this? Are these Fallschirmjäger? I'm thinking that's what these are. FJ rifles. That has to be Fallschirmjäger. We got tank hunters, gun piece, grenadiers, plenty of rifles. Looks like a huge amount of rifles. Service troops. And again, in case you guys have not played this game before, I'm going to reference it again. You notice that these counters are very, very, very clean. There's no unit stats on there, and that's because they're all on cards that are off map. It makes it to where the counters look so clean on the map because you don't have to squint for the tiny little numbers. They're on cards and they're very easy to see. Let's see, we've got Wolverines. No, Valentines. Excuse me, I read that wrong. Valentines, 2-pounder, Shermans. Shermans kick ass in this game. 40mm Bofors. Yay, yay. That's going to be great. That's going to be cool, man. Backside is the reduced side once the units start taking some casualties. Let's slide the counters out of the way. We'll look at some of these individual counters after we pull out some of the map pieces. Looks like we've got a lot of allied units. Only three counter sheets, and it looks like some German units and then a bunch of allied units, bunch of British units are being added to this game. So commandos, parachute rifles, some more just generic rifles, a lot of infantry units here. Service troops, Piat team. Piats are cool. Those are those spring-loaded bazookas, basically. 3-inch mortar teams, some snipers. And if you get snipers dug into this game, they can do some work if they got a clear line of sight. Vickers machine guns, more 2-pounders, 17-pounder, 6-pounder. What was that, 3-pounder, 2-pounder? Yeah, 2-pounder up there. bunch of different anti-tank guns, and of course the reduced side there on the back. And look at that. Look how many counters they knocked out. Douchebags. I'm gonna have to get on to the mail, guys. Bren carriers. I don't know this armored car. Daimler AC. Half tracks M7 Priest. That's motorized indirect fire gun. Churchill's ATR carrier. More Bren carriers. So looks like a lot of light armored stuff with a few Shermans mixed in, a bunch of trucks and more Bofors, 2-pounders. And we've got a few more German units up here, a few more rifles. So it seems like we've added a lot of British units to the game and some extra parachute regiments for the Germans. If I'm right, if they're Fallschirmjäger, I could be wrong on that, but I believe I'm right. Again, just good looking counters. And this is a pre-production copy. This is not the production version of the game. This is the pre-production version that he gets made, and he gets a handful of these made. And look how good this quality is. You could get this and you would be perfectly happy with it. And the version that's going to come later will be better than this, just a little bit better than this. All right, you guys forgive me as I kind of dump these out. I'm not saying anything that we haven't seen already. Looks like a bunch of stuff that we already saw. Yeah, the little armor carriers, some of our German units. All right. All right, I had to move all those counters out of the way. Damn, mail guy's not going to lose. Something neat about this game, in case, again, you haven't seen it before, is the geomorphic maps they use are designed to easily interlock with each other, and you can set them up in a multitude of different ways. Have rivers running through roads, buildings. They're all double-sided. Looks like a lot of farmland. Some little buildings there. Trees, rough terrain. Ooh, cool. Another river. And we've got some bigger hex pieces here. And if you notice, again, all about the ease of play, ease of access for the person. They design their boxes in a way that everything goes back into the box. How many war games do you guys have out there where you can't get it back in? You've got baggies full of just random counters. You don't do that here. It has a tray built in where all your little units are going to go. Your map pieces fit snugly back in there, so they're not going to be sliding all around and getting dinged up. All of their stuff is like this. And this is pre-production, man. Look how good they're already doing it. Oh, so good. I am going to have to find some time to play this. Okay, so you match it up just like so. You see how all the little pieces are designed to go with each other and work together seamlessly. Looks like we got one of our little bridges right there that we're going to be fighting over, front and back on these. And again, all this stuff is going to work perfectly with the stuff that you already have for Assault Sicily 43 and the original Assault. So we get the front and the back there. Got a hill here in the center, a little house to fight over, and some roads, rough terrain, some light bushes, little house hanging out there in the center ready to get blown up. And just in case you guys haven't seen that, there is a pack of counters that comes with the Assault Sicily 43 game, so you can replace buildings with rubble or crater the plain terrain, so you can have artillery or explosions or whatever that changes the face of the terrain as you're playing the game. Now again, look at this. Look how nice this is. This is so nice. It's designed to have your cards fit right in there, and look, the counters just slide right in there, right? So you could get, I'm gonna have to organize these later. Damn mail people. But look at that. All your counters are going to go neatly in the box. You put that tray lid back on top and bam, you're done. You're just done. So easy. All right, so I grabbed out some of the cards here real quick so I could show them to you, give you guys some examples of the cards that come with it. Just to show you, you see up here, British infantry has that little symbol, and you see there's like the artillery symbol. I think their vehicles down over there somewhere. But this is what I was talking about for those scenarios for the campaign when you are playing it, that this is the type of thing that you would do. So let's just grab out a handful of these real quick. Say it calls for, one infantry formation. Now let's shuffle this up, left, boom. And that's going to be your infantry formation here. We would have 4 Royal Engineers, 1 3-inch mortar, 1 Vickers machine gun. But if we've drawn a different card, we're going to have different units. A bunch of rifles, engineers, Piat team, 2-inch mortar, and a sniper. Or Piat team, rifles, Vickers machine gun, and another sniper. So all these have different types of units on them. And we see that they have also different experience levels on them as well. If you are playing with that, that is an optional rule when it comes to the experience level. It can really change up your gameplay though. And just to show you, we have, I think this is all the artillery pieces, but the artillery pieces and the tanks, the armor will have infantry in there as well. These are anti-tank guns and some trucks, Bofors, but you see there's some rifles there, there's trucks. So some of these will have mixed units, just like our infantry had some mortars in there for indirect assets. Some of these will have tanks, some of these will have infantry in them. So you never know quite what you're going to get on these cards. Now, of course, you can, look through if you want to pick which card you want to use for your scenarios. You can do that, create your own scenario. But it gives you just so much variability, so many ways that you can play the game. And also there is command points, which is listed down here in the bottom left of the card. You'll always find that you have less command points than you have units. It's designed that way specifically. So you only have so many command actions per turn. You have to make wise choices when you're activating your units, because each time you activate a unit, you spend one of those. Definitely go check out my playthroughs. I've done plenty of them, showing you guys how the game is played so you can understand the basics of what all this means. Let's see here. We've got plenty more of the British infantry and armored vehicles. So here we got a couple of Valentines and a Bring carrier, a couple of Shermans and a truck. Here's a selection of different things. BC, this is for armor, right? This is listed down as armor, but this is a heavy recon team. So it's got a Daimler armored carrier, ATR carrier, some rifles, a Piat team, a half-track, and a Bren carrier. They're designed to move pretty quick. Valentine, Sherman, and an ATR carrier. So that's medium tanks. Infantry support section. So it's got the priest in there. Heavy tank section, a couple of Churchills, and high-level Churchills, actually, the experience level on those. So just so many options, so many different ways to play the game. I can't give it enough praise. These formation cards really do take the game to that next level. And of course, you're going to have a selection of formation cards for all of our German units as well. Again, with their command points and experience level down here in the bottom. And you're going, okay, if you haven't played the game before, you don't know where your unit stats come from, that's going to be all of these cards. They're going to give you the stats for your units. So just as an example here, we've got our Piat carrier. These are its armor values. That's how many defense die it gets. Down here at the bottom, these are its attack values at different ranges and its attack values for armored or soft targets. So if you're rolling dice against armored targets, you're going to be rolling these dice. If you're rolling against soft targets, you're going to be rolling these dice. And you only need one of these cards for each type of unit. You can have multiple ones, but this tells you the specific stats for that unit. And then on the back side, it tells you any special abilities that that unit has. Like this one is maneuverable, does not pay any movement points to change facing. Low silhouette when defending, -1 modifier spotting rolls for the attacker. And it's got some indirect fire on it as well. half tracks, trucks. You see, they don't really have a lot going for them because they're just basic trucks. Royal Engineers, there's the rifles I was talking about. And you see that infantry have armor values as well. And that's just to symbolize the fact that they're not going to just stand there and get shot. They're going to get down, they're going to try to get into cover, even if they are in the open. But what you're going to do, for example, with infantry like this, if they're in a building, they will have their defensive value and whatever defensive value they have in the terrain, and it's going to be an opposed die roll. The attacker will roll whatever their dice are, any modifiers. Same for the defender with any dice they get. And then whoever wins, boom, that applies the damage. So if the infantry are able to negate all of the attacker's dice, then they don't take any damage. But if they don't, then they start taking damage, which is what these heart symbols mean here in the top right. So you see we've just got a whole bunch of different units with all their special abilities listed down. So we've got the formation cards, we've got the individual unit cards, and then we also have some other cards. We've got some tactical cards and we've got command cards. Tactical cards give you some stuff that you can do during the game preparation and then before rolling the die for withdrawal or routed, and any other special abilities that will happen like here. Divisional assets, you would do this during game preparation. Your commander's giving you a choice. Exchange 1 OAS card for 2 TAS cards, or exchange 1 for this or 1 for that. Gain additional veteran support infantry unit plus 1 command point. So different options depending on what is listed on the card there and when it's going to come effect in the game. And then here we have the stuff. These are your command cards. These are things like your artillery strikes, and I believe your air stuff. Yep, here we go. Your strafing run, how that's going to apply, what type of damage it's going to do depending on what it's targeting. What else we got here? We got an airstrike, a bunch of different airstrikes. Death or glory, when in close combat with an armored vehicle, roll a d6. 1 to 2, no effect. 3 to 5, enemy unit has to withdraw after this close combat round. 6, gain 1 damage point to your unit. The enemy unit gets 1 damage point and has to withdraw after this close combat round. Discard the card after the d6 roll. Alternate effect, anytime, gain 1 blue defensive die. So you've got some options on some of these cards. And there's just a selection of many different effects that you can have here. It does not have quite as many of the German versions of these cards, so I am assuming you are going to pull some of these assets from the Assault Sicily 43 main box. And then just like that, we can take and put our cards back in there nice and easily organized. We've got spots for dice and other counters. The assorted counters like barricades and the like you can put down in here. And then for all of our different unit counters, again, you can put those right there. And then again, once you put that lid on, you can slide those right back in there, just like so. Let me make sure I get it on there right. Just gonna go, yeah. And we got one more we can throw right there. And then all you gotta do is put your book right here on the top. I'm gonna have to organize these counters here in just a little bit, get them all down there ready to go. But I definitely want to play a scenario or two through Primosole Bridge just to try that out, see how cool it is, what all it's adding to the game. But really, guys, this is just more of what we already like. Assault really has just done such a great job of making its own name in a very dense field. The tactical hex encounter war game is one that is heavily populated, and it's got a lot of different people bringing some good stuff. Lock and Load Tactical, Academy Games with their Conflict of Heroes series. Both of those are a couple of my favorites. Playing in their own way. They both play really well solitaire. And I never thought I would have one that came in and could really compete with how good those are until I got to play Assault. And once I got to play Assault, it went from my 2 favorites to my 3 favorites because the game really is that good. And this is just adding more of what we already like. I know it sounds like I'm blowing a lot of smoke, but Assault really just does such a good job. It invented itself, came up with its own rules, its own tactics. I especially love the custom dice, the way combat is handled in this game. It really gives it a unique feel. It's not just rolling 2d6 and consulting a chart, dealing with modifiers. The custom dice really give combat its own flavor. And the other big thing for Assault is, again, those formation cards and the way that they work with the scenarios in the order of battle to give you that massive level of replay value. When it comes to replay value, no game has the replay value that Assault does. They are top to the top when it comes to replay value. In the fact that they come with the roughly same amount of scenarios in the box, but it's the way you can play those scenarios with all the different formation cards, and then being able to switch each different side to have them play attacker one time, defender the next time, gives you so many ways that you can play it. Very rarely do you have a game like that where you can play the same scenario 10, 15 times and have it play differently each and every single time. With Assault, you can actually do that. So yeah, they've got it on pre-order now. If you are interested in expanding your copy of Assault Sicily 43, check out the link. I've got one down below. And definitely go support them, because Assault games is worth supporting. All right, that's going to be it for me. You guys take care. I'll catch you in the next one.